Welcome to part 2 of our 3-part conversation about daily rhythm while living with chronic illness. As a reminder, please consult with your medical and support professionals before making any changes to your care or daily practices. I want to pause and briefly reflect on where we've been so far. If you recall, in part 1, we talked about what happens when your days no longer move the way they used to. We named the loss of flow that so many people experience with chronic illness and how disorienting it can feel when the rhythms you once relied upon no longer fit. We also named something that often goes unspoken, the grief that comes with that change. Not dramatic grief, but the quiet daily grief of needing more effort, more planning, and more care just to move through ordinary life. If any of that stirred something in you, that makes total sense. Awareness can feel very tender at first. Today, we're going to stay with that awareness and go a little deeper. Not to fix anything and not to control your body, but to understand what is actually happening beneath the surface of your days. As we continue this conversation, I want to start by naming something many people experience but rarely say out loud. Living with chronic illness requires an extraordinary amount of invisible labor. Not just physical labor, but emotional and cognitive labor. The kind that happens quietly in the background all day long. Monitoring how you feel, making calculations about what you can manage, deciding whether something is worth the energy it will cost, adjusting plans or letting go of plans entirely, explaining or choosing not to explain why things look and feel the way that they do. All of that labor shapes your daily rhythm, whether you're aware of it or not. One of the reasons daily life can feel so heavy is that many people are trying to structure their days around tasks, expectations, or external demands without accounting for how energy and emotion actually move through the day. And when there's a mismatch between what you expect of yourself and what your body can realistically offer, grief tends to fill the gap. Grief is not constant. It rises and falls and can show up in many subtle ways. You may notice it in the morning when facing the day, or at night when the house is quiet. It might appear as disappointment when your energy drops earlier or faster than you'd hoped. It might sound like frustration when you think, I should be able to do more than this. Or it might suffer as sadness when you realize how much planning it takes now just to get through an ordinary day. When I had to navigate a long-term flare-up in 2024, it had been almost 2 decades since I had experienced a flare-up of that magnitude. I had forgotten how labor-intensive chronic illness could be in my daily life. Not only was it challenging to rest comfortably, plan meals, and eat foods that wouldn't aggravate my digestive problems, or even get dressed each day, it was nearly impossible to leave the house for prolonged periods of time. I had to plan my time, pack and carry new medicine, anticipate potential issues, and plan how to navigate them, even though I really didn't know. It was exhausting. This represented a complete disruption to my daily rhythm. I could no longer make and keep commitments, which was devastating to me. I couldn't even do things that I enjoy because I had to navigate pain, exhaustion, and brain fog. Daily rhythm work acknowledges that emotional weight has timing, And when we ignore that timing, we might push ourselves at the wrong moments. One of the most understood aspects of chronic illness is the difference between energy and capacity. You might have the energy, but lack the endurance. You might have the capacity, but lack motivation. You might have both and still feel emotionally depleted. When people don't understand this, they blame themselves. And self-blame is one of the quiet companions of grief. For me, it was a struggle to let go of expecting myself to be able to perform or do things as I had only months prior, and really made me reevaluate my priorities, especially in the near term. Energy, especially with chronic illness, is not linear. It doesn't rise steadily in the morning and taper gently at night. For many people, it comes in waves, short windows of clarity or strength, followed by sudden or unexpected depletion. Or it may feel inconsistent from one day to the next, making it hard to predict. Emotions follow a similar pattern. You may notice that certain times of day feel heavier emotionally. Mornings can bring dread or anxiety about what the day will require. Afternoons can bring frustration or grief as energy wanes. Evenings can carry loneliness, reflection, or a sense of loss for what didn't happen. None of this means that you're doing something wrong. It means your body and nervous system are responding to a reality that requires constant adjustment. Many of us are told, just listen to your body. But that advice can feel cruel when your body feels unpredictable or unreliable. However, it is important to notice your body's patterns. One of the most compassionate shifts you can make is to stop asking, how do I manage this better? And begin asking, what is this pattern trying to tell me? Awareness alone can reduce suffering because it replaces self-blame with understanding and compassion. This is where grief and rhythm intersect in an important way. When you don't understand your own patterns, it's easy to feel at odds with yourself. You may push when rest is needed, or rest when what is actually needed is connection or meaning. Over time, that disconnection compounds into exhaustion and grief. But when you begin to notice how energy and emotion move through your day, you can start responding instead of reacting. You might realize that certain tasks are suited to specific windows of energy or time. You might notice that emotional heaviness has a rhythm of its own, and that naming it helps soften its grip. This doesn't mean you control your illness. It means that you are learning to live alongside it with more attunement and awareness. Many people find that this awareness is both relieving and unsettling. Relieving because it validates their experience. Unsettling because it highlights how much they have been pushing themselves without support. This is often the moment when someone says, I can see this now, but I'm not sure how to change it or make it better. Or they may realize that I've been organizing my days around tasks instead of around my energy. This shift in awareness can be profound, but awareness is only the first step. Integration takes time, patience, and often support, not because you're incapable, but because this work touches identity, grief, and deeply ingrained habits. This is where having support through coaching can prevent overwhelm, because insight without integration can feel very destabilizing. So instead of structuring your day around what should happen, you can begin to ask yourself, when do I need support? When do I need gentleness? When do I need permission to stop? Those questions don't indicate weakness. They are the gateway to wisdom. As we close part 2, I invite you to reflect gently on this question. Where in your day do you tend to ask the most of yourself, even when your energy or your emotions are already strained? You don't need to judge your answer, simply notice it. In part 3, we'll talk about how to create a rhythm that is livable and compassionate, even when your chronic illness is unpredictable. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. I look forward to continuing the conversation in part 3. If today's reflection resonated with you, you may be wondering what kind of support could help you continue this work in a way that fits your life now. We invite you to explore the different coaching options available and determine what type of coaching might be right for you. Please visit our website at https://www.coachingforchronicillness.com/coaching-inquiry/. Please remember that support is not about fixing yourself. It's about having a thoughtful partner as you navigate change.